Guys, it's me, Ashley, again. I'm coming on today to talk about a couple things. I wanted to talk about update on what's going on with me, how things have been going, and something that I've been downloading. I actually started downloading this, if you guys can see, back in May. But at the time, Dad was saying not to share this, but for the last couple days, I've been getting more pushing off to share this now. And basically, what I'm going to be talking about is some elder beings that I'm not too. I mean, I've read about a lot of them. Growing up, reading a lot about history, but I wasn't too sure why I was being pointed in this direction by Dad, for Father God, as you want to put it. But I feel like he wants to release this information. I don't know who this is going to be useful for because, this is higher level stuff. And maybe some people understand what I'm saying. But at the same time, I kind of feel like I'm speaking to certain people that may or may not get this. But I'm still trying to figure out and piece this all together. But supposedly, this is what God wants me to put out here. So here I am. But I first wanted to start off saying, hey, everybody, how's it going? Life's been going pretty good. I mean, like, I'm still going through all my motions. I've been doing more readings, and that's been really positive. I haven't got all the Instagram videos up yet simply because I'm still in the process of trying to get everybody to do their testimonials and stuff, but it's coming, it'll be underway, and I'll get there eventually. I've also been pondering if maybe I should start up like a separate tarot what do you call it, channel, because I find like maybe a different medium might be easier for me to connect with people, and then I can try to move forward with my readings. Somebody else did bring up the word in one of the comments that I shouldn't use the word reading, so I'll back that up. I'll change it around. What I do is I channel higher selves, and I find that through my readings, I tend to help people through regular times, hard times, but also from what I've gathered from those I've read, that there is a healing component to it because at the same time, it's like that introspection that you might be going through, you might just need that nudge to really feel self assured in your ideas and what you're trying to achieve in life. And I find because I can connect to your higher self and pinpoint things that you've been going back and forth in your own mind, back and forth with your higher self, I'm kind of like the referee that just like cuts through the crap and says, hey, like this is what they've been trying to say. This is what you've been feeling and thinking. Let's piece this together and get you moving forward in the right direction. So, in essence, that's what my readings are. What I do is I channel, maybe I'll get your name, your full name, and I have to get the clear yes from you as as the person engaged. And I'll channel for one day, then I channel the next day, and by day 3, I'll meet up with you and we'll have that one-on-one and see where you're at. Sometimes it can be health related, sometimes it can be personal or goal orientated. Sometimes I pass on loved ones that step in that kind of want to say a couple words. There's different things that I do or that come to me. It's just that I have access to you as a person, and I respect everyone fully. And it's just a way to help you or nudge you in the right direction. So that has been going very well. I know it's just word of mouth right now, and I've been trying to figure out how I could do it, what modality. It won't work on any modality. I'm not going to stick myself in you know, a TikTok room and just hope that people walk in. It's just too personal. And at the same time, you're right. Like as somebody said, it's not reading, it's a channeling. I'm channeling, I'm helping you grow. So back to this. I was getting downloaded from Dad, and I'm not too sure how to go about this, but I'm doing the best I can based on what I was given. I have had a hell of a time this last week after those everyone was talking about those resonances that we're going through. The Schumann resonance, I can honestly say from my personal perspective, had a very, very, very physical effect on me. Like there was one day I couldn't get out of bed, literally. Like I went to drop off my son and I just TKO'd for like the whole day. That was one. I've had projectile situations. I've had just out of body, I don't know if you guys have ever gone like on a 2-day drinking bender with your friends, like party on a Friday, party on a Saturday, feel like very crappy on a Sunday. That's how I felt without any alcohol involved. Like that I'm out of my body viewing the world type of like situation. It was I there was points where I felt like I was seeing the film like phase in and out, like my world was phasing in and out of existence. It's been rough. Like that's all I can say about what I've been experiencing during the Schumann residence. So if these are just like light codes being downloaded or whatever they are, I'm feeling it on a physical level. So I just wanted to say that. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of why we're here. So, like I said, I started downloading this back in May 19, like I said over here, but I got the go ahead and more channelings that came to me in the last days. So, I'm going to be talking about what I was saying about what I call the archaeons. And the archaeons are elder powers. I know this isn't going to come across the right way, but because it's always backwards, but I'll do my best. So, Dad was saying there's 64 of these guys, and from what I can understand, is that they are the creator gods or energies or elder powers that existed. And you have to understand that Father God and Mom are the all of creation, the beginning. I guess everyone uses the word gods, but it's like I want to say that the elder powers got their power from the all, which is our mom and dad. So I'm just saying, like, these are, I always look at them as like facets. You know what I mean? Just like human beings are all facets of mom and dad, it's kind of the same idea with these elder powers. So, the first thing I want to say is that from what I was being told, they are broken down like earth, air, water, and fire were the first of the four primordial energies. Even if you look at it from a physical level, like how these things translate into our physical bodies, was that earth is seen more as a metabolic function, air energy is seen as a respiratory function, water is seen as a circulatory function, and fire is seen as a nervous system function. So even in our own bodies, just like, Da Vinci and his Vesuvius man, our own bodies also inhibit and hold those four primordial elder powers. So the reason why I think Dad was like telling me about this is that there's 64 of these guys, women guys. I believe they're androgynous, but they do take on form of like male or female here and on the earth. Now, just like the 144,000 that are called, right? There's a lot more than 144,000 that are called, but I believe only 144,000 rise up and take heed to the message. I think these are kaons, and not to mistake them with archons. That's a different word, different archaeons. It's ironic. It's a Greek term, and the only like when you're looking on Google, it's like kind of hard. It's like you don't have the old library to look up Greek etymology, but the only other thing I could find online about this word archaeons was that archaeons are a primordial bacteria that and the reason why the bacteria got its name in the first place is because of how ancient and how much of a foundational bacteria it is to the planet Earth. Like basically, the planet Earth is built on archaeon bacteria. So much like that, the name of the archaeons or where that came from was from these primordial gods slash energies. So the bacteria got its name from the original archaeons, which I'm talking about today. So from what I was told, like there are even, I think there's, I was told that basically like JC, Jesus is the king of these archaeons, like in the sense, like the way I've always seen it is like mother, father, and then, JC as like a trinity, but at the same time it's like I don't know how that functioning works. Some people would even call mom Sophia, Gaia, and dad different names as well, but Sophia is kind of one I'm still trying to figure out if she falls into a archaeon or if she's of a higher level. But these 64 archaeons, I was told, actually are walking the earth right now, so they might have a different path than the 144,000, whereas if like when they're called, like they turn on and there's no saying yes or no. It's like once they start opening up, like I don't even know, they could become superhuman. I don't know, because it's like I was getting shown all these things. Like the first ones I was being shown was, um, if you guys can see here, was Atman, Adam, Adam in any type of etymology, was it could be Sumerian, Mesopotamian. There's old Hebrew saying it just Adam means of man. It was like the primordial first man. Also Eve. Like if you look at the word Eve, like they would say that she's a primordial woman. But then there's other lore, and I'm sure if you've read about this, Eve was also seen as the wife of God. Which God we don't know. Like I'm saying, these 64 are gods in a sense. Like they are the primordial energies. I guess the facets of the all, the mother, father, all that I speak of. So I wanted to talk about the ones that came through for me, that are currently, there are people embodying these energies, and from what I've been told, like they're going to come on, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to possess those inner abilities that their genetics is predestined to illuminate. So I'm kind of curious myself, because I don't know why I was being told this, but I definitely feel like it's important to those that it matters to. So the first ones I was being kind of talked about, was this idea of like Ishtar, Isis. If you see me putting two names, it's just so that people have more of an understanding, because basically the functionality of Ishtar is the same as Isis. Even though they're seen at different time frames, like the actual embodiment of the person was the same as the previous older god. So I just go with the double names, but I'll start with the older one. There's Midras, Mitra. That is another one. Lily, Illy, Lilith. Some equate Lily and Illy, Lilith with Eve, but I like to see them as separate, even though Devi She. Devi She, where is it? I had never heard about this in my whole life, and when I looked it up, it actually is a goddess. I did not know. Inu, Inu, or is it INNU? Older African god. The El. Some would equate this with the Elohim, but the word El, primordial El, is the one that I was being shown, not Elohim, just El. And Asherah, which was the wife of El. That was another one I was being shown. And then when I got those two, I was transported to Yahweh. If you can see here, I don't know. Yahweh and Hesed. And I had to be told that Hesed was specifically Hosod, not Hesiod, which is another Greek. And it was really hard to find this guy. Oh my gosh, like Hesed, I had to go through like old, because every time I get these downloads, like I like to see like what the names actually mean. So it was really hard to find Hesed, but Hesed is more, I guess, older. Aramaic, there's Hebrew Aramaic ties. Hesed and Yahweh, they were both gods born of the same time. Quetzalcoatl or Quetzalcoatl is an Aztecian god. That was another one I was getting. Sekhmet, which is an Egyptian god. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, but mainly Brahma. Brahma is the extension of Vishnu and Shiva, but Brahma came through. Baal, Ball. Anu, Thoth, Metatron. So there are more that I'm obviously I didn't list out all 64, and I'm gonna see if I keep getting more to add to this. But basically, from what I was given, these are the ones maybe perhaps that that are currently on right now. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But these were the ones, and there was two things I wanted to point out as well that I did also think was interesting, because there's this idea with Eve. If you see here, I put a serpent, and then with Quetzalcoatl, I put a serpent as well. And this brings us back to this idea of Sophia. Okay, because the thing is that even in the oldest of traditions, Eve, for example, right, we all know the story of Adam and Eve. Eve takes a bite of that apple, right, and then obviously they get thrown out of Eden because of that. So if the stories looked at, the reason why the serpent is very distinct in that story, and also with Quetzalcoatl, serpents can be misunderstood. Realistically, sometimes serpents can be attached to what we call Sophia. Sophia is a Greek word for knowledge or the know-how. Some could call it logos, philo, but Sophia is seen as the primordial, I guess, representative of all knowing, like the eternal knowing. So, in a sense, or the knowing of God, of the all. So that's why sometimes Sophia is very interesting because she is like the mother of all, and that's why I feel like she and Guy are kind of interchangeable in a sense, but Guy always gave me this nurturing aspect, whereas Sophia gave me more of a cerebral aspect to it. But Sophia is very loving and all encompassing, mother of Mary, etc., etc. It goes down the lineage. I'm not going to get into all that. But the reason why Eve and Quetzalcoatl were interesting to me was because of these two primordials, our archaeons, as I'm saying. This idea of the serpent was very constant with these two. Therefore, the serpent was basically what people would see as evil, as the term seems. But realistically, in older traditions, the serpent was seen as the bringer of knowledge. So therefore, like what someone could see is like when Eve ate the apple, she went after knowledge of God. And the thing is that that could be seen as what they call sin, because the thing is that you've stepped away from just being okay under God and reaching forward to be God. So there was this idea in Adam and Eve that that's what Eve was trying to um do. But actually, in older traditions of Eve, right? I believe there's a Sumerian tradition where Eve was seen as what they would call the creator of Adam. Like basically, she had the knowledge genealogically to create Adam. So if you go into an older story of Eve, she is seen as, I believe it's Sumerian. Eve would have been seen as what you would call like a modern day genealogist and or not a doctor, but if a high end genealogist that was able to create. So I know that sounds weird, but and genealogist is a weird word to form because even older traditions would say that the gods would form out of clay, etc. But Eve was seen as someone with high knowledge in older traditional stories of her, and she was the one who supposedly created of man, and that's why there's this idea where she was the wife of the all God, ergo Sophia. So I'm saying this idea with Eve and Sophia kind of sticks in my mind because of the serpent. Sophia was also known by the serpent as well. Because the serpent was actually seen, and if you actually look at any health symbol, it's a caduceus of two serpents, and the idea was that it was that the serpent brought not forth only healing, but also of priori knowledge. So when Quetzalcoatl also had this serpent attached to him, I found that that was very interesting. So, like I said, back to the 64 out of the primordials, the four earth, air, fire, water. Perhaps there was certain archaeons that were given the serpent symbolism because they followed the same grouping, either earth, air, water, fire. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think I'm going to process more. I'm going to figure out the symbolisms of them all, the underlying personality traits to kind of hone down the name specifics of them all. But I'm just letting you know where I'm at. There's 64 of these guys. They're on planet Earth. And I guess that would be four groupings of 16. But yeah, that's what I got. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know who that's going to be helpful for, but there's 64 of these guys. Who knows who else is here? That's all I'm saying. I'm curious to meet all these guys in live form. I mean, even when I did this original one, I got some interesting information about myself included somewhere with all of this. So I don't know what that all means for me, but that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not exactly sure why Dad wanted me to share this, but I'm sharing it as best as I can. So please know that at this time, not only do we have the help of the angels, we have the help of these archaons, we have the help of Mother, Father, God, we have the help of all the star seeds that are planted here, we have the help of all of, there's even, like I was saying in my older videos, when I went to Mexico, how even my darker side was chiming in and all that. Like I'm noticing that even my night side, my dark side's trying to help out. So and that's why I kind of go back to even this whole Lilith illy thing, because I feel like even in a sense, even if you were spawned into this earth through a dualistic system, and yes, you are seen on what they would call the darker side of life, right? That was your station. That's what you were born into, that, but it doesn't mean that there isn't uh a higher level understanding or Sophia even in the darker night side. So I'm saying it's like even though primordially you were seen as dark, it doesn't mean that you can't exhibit the highest version of dark. Or the highest version of light. It's the same idea. Like there seems to be hierarchies to everything. There's levels of light, there's levels of night, there's levels of everything, it seems, and I'm starting to sift through all of this. Another thing I did want to say is that I'm getting a lot of downloads about our other off-worldly friends, and they seem to be stationing themselves primarily with Mars and Saturn right now. But they're also watching out, and I mean, like even they have their own hierarchies. Even they have higher otherworldly quadrants that watch over them. So it's like I'm trying to sift through all of this level of hierarchyism. It seems to be very important. I would imagine if you have endless amount of time forever, that these things don't bother you. But that's all I wanted to talk about today. If you do like what I'm saying, if you do get any information from me that you find is useful, please feel free to message me. Feel free to add me. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, anything that gets the word out. But this is this for me today, and I love you lots. And don't let those Schumann resonances kick your ass, because they've been definitely kicking mine. I love you lots, guys, and see you next time. Bye.